All right, we're at step 3 where we're actually going to apply the epoxy. So as you guys can see, we've already etched the floor, degreased it. We've got all of our masking tape up, as you can see. And now we're ready to apply the epoxy. Here is all of the materials that you're going to need to put on the epoxy. I do recommend getting one of these padded kneelers because it's very helpful when you're cutting in and putting on your tape that you don't have to kneel on the hard concrete. So here's what we're going to put on today. We've got 3 kits of the Shieldcrete. This is available through Sherwin-Williams. You can expect to spend about $170 per kit plus tax, and each kit covers, the box says 250 square feet. I would recommend no more than 250 square feet. It really gets pretty thin. I like to calculate about 200 square feet. I am going to flake it. So this is sold separately. Each one of these costs about $20, and you need 1 bag per kit. So if you think about it, you've got another $20, $40, $60 in flakes, and if you just want to round up to $200, 2 for $600 in epoxy. So you're pushing $700 just in epoxy and flakes, not counting your acid, degreaser, or any of this other stuff. So I would recommend on a large garage like this, which is about 600 square feet, budgeting about $1,000 for this job start to finish. Okay, so what are we going to need? We need 2 very clean, empty 5-gallon buckets, because this is a 2-part epoxy system. It has a catalyst, a part A and a part B. And once you catalyze that epoxy, and if you're using multiple kits, you want to make sure you have a uniform finish. You don't want to mix just 1 kit at a time because there can be slight deviations and variations in the color. You want to mix all 3 kits at the same time and then blend it with your paint blender and your power drill. Make sure you have a couple of extra charged batteries because it does suck the battery down pretty well. All right, once we have our epoxy blended, we're going to put it in our pan. You got to have your extension pole because you want to be standing and you want to be rolling with your roller frame. And if you're going to do 2 coats, which is what I do, I start with the 3/4 inch nap roller. That is the semi-rough to rough surfaces, because as you can see, this concrete has been etched really, really well. So it's a very rough surface. You want your first coat to be done with the 3/4 inch nap, and then you want to come back to get that really, really, really smooth finish with your 3/8 inch nap, 3/8 inch nap, I can't say that, for your second coat, which will give you that very, very smooth finish. And you'll see as I actually apply this epoxy, how you do the flake. So a lot of guys will tell you to go out there and buy these special shoes that have spikes in them so that you can walk on wet epoxy and flake it. That's silly. You don't need to do that. You can just roll it, and as you do in an area, you want to put your flakes in the other 5-gallon bucket that you haven't mixed your epoxy in. You want to put all 3 of these bags of flakes in there so you have them. Mix them together, and you'll see, I'll demonstrate how to do it. You don't just throw them on the ground like this, because then you'll get spots where it's very thick and where it's very thin, and it will not look uniform. You have to literally like throw it up in the air and let it rain down, which is why I recommend using this bucket and putting all the flakes in there instead of trying to do it out of the bag. If you try to do it out of the bag, you're going to get a terrible finish. And then finally, we have some cut-in brushes. Just know whatever brushes you use, even though this is a water-based system, you're not going to be able to reuse them. So do not go buying expensive brushes. You want some rags, and then, of course, just some cleaner in case you get it on some area that you don't want it in. So with that said, let's get to the application. Okay, so as you can see, got my girlfriend over there cutting in as I'm putting in as I'm rolling the epoxy. I already put the sprinkles there, got sprinkles here. This is wet. This is why you don't need those spike shoes. Look, you just grab like a handful of sprinkles and watch. You throw it straight up in the air. just like that. That's how you do it. All right, finished product, here we go. Light in here kind of sucks, but we're gonna take a look at it. There's my cut line. I think all things considered, considering how old and crappy this concrete was, this actually turned out really good. Walls look good. Go out here. Now after this flake, you can come in and you can clear over it, but I don't recommend doing that because I like a ton of flake, as you can see, because it keeps it from when you get water on it or melted snow or anything like that. You don't bust your ass. It's not super slick. But anyway, hard to tell, but it looks really good. Looks better than it does on video. I really like it.